welcome. I'm Jennifer Bires, life and happiness coach, and your host of Happy and Healthy, where we explore and discover all the many ways of keeping you feeling happy and healthy. And remember to stay tuned to the end, where I've got my Good to Know segment, where I've always got something good to share with you. So today, we're going to be talking about healing and the many ways that you can find it at the Smith Center. So please welcome my guest today. Welcome Jennifer Bires, and she's the Executive Director of the Smith Center for the Arts and for Healing and the Arts. Mm-hmm. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's wonderful. And just off the bat, why don't you just tell us a little bit about Smith Center and what kind of things they do?
Great. So Smith Center for Healing and the Arts is a community program designed to mostly help people who've been impacted by cancer. So we do a number of programs that center around the arts, and we also have a healing arts gallery specifically designed to incorporate artists that use healing in their art. So we have a number of programs like support groups, movement classes, retreats, integrative patient navigation, and a number of different programs that really help people who have been diagnosed with cancer, as well as their caregivers and people in the community who are just looking for prevention.
Yeah, and what I really like about Smith Center is their philosophy. They come towards like the healing in a different way than most organizations that I'm familiar with. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, at Smith Center, we really believe that everyone has the innate ability to heal, even in spite of life's challenges.
In spite of it, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So we know something like cancer, for example, can be a really difficult thing, and that sometimes how people confront it can really help them see life differently in a more positive light, or see life in a more negative light. And so we're really trying to give people the tools that they need to make a positive outcome of a difficult experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And, full disclosure here that I myself benefited from one of your programs, which we want to speak about a little bit, from one of your retreats. Right. and all the many things that you offer when I was going through my battle with breast cancer many years ago. So I feel very grateful for everything that you offered, and it's really amazing, and I always try to encourage people to find out more about it. And so how did you get involved with Smith Center? It used to be called Smith Farm Center.
Yeah. So, I am a social worker by training, and I have always worked in the oncology field. So when I was 13, my mom died from cancer, which really encouraged me to look at how it impacted my life and how I can help impact others who are experiencing something similar. And so after moving to DC, I worked in an outpatient oncology center for many, many years, and I did some contract work for Smith Center. I ran a number of their support groups and their young adult program. So when Shanti Norris, one of the founding directors of Smith Center, retired, I threw my hat in the ring for the position, and I've been there for about 2 years now. And, it's a program that as an oncology social worker, I watched it change countless lives. And so I, was so happy to be able to be a bigger part of it because it's really impressive, the work that happens there.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about all the different things because I know it's grown so much and really taken on like a whole new life. But just for people to know that this is something that a lot of these programs are available for people even if they're out of the Washington D.C. area. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we have all different types of programming. So we have a teaching kitchen on site. So we do a lot of nutrition programming. One of our main goals is to make sure that nutrition is accessible for folks. I think oftentimes when people are thinking about eating healthy, it can be scary, and they may think that they would have to change their way of cooking or eating, or that they couldn't enjoy maybe family recipes. So we have a few health supportive chefs that really specialize in taking recipes that people may have used for years and years and years and making them just a little healthier and with some cancer fighting or cancer prevention properties. So a lot of our nutrition programs are on the weekends, so those are good programs for people to attend who are from out of town, but also in the local area. And then we're running programs every day of the week. So we do yoga and movement classes.
Is this for all ages?
It's for all age. Well, it's for adults. So 18 and older generally are the people who access our programs. And we really have people who are fairly young who come in for programming, and people who are older. Really runs the gamut. So we do the yoga and movement classes. We do a lot around arts. So we really believe that arts can be very healing. I briefly mentioned our art gallery earlier, but we have art classes every week so people can, use a different side of their brain to really process some of the things that they've been through.
Wow. So I'd like to hear about all the different programs that you offer. So, because I think that it'd be very interesting I know you do the art programs, but tell us about all the other programs you do.
So when we talk about arts, we talk about visual arts, but we also do journaling classes and poetry classes. I mentioned a little bit about nutrition, and then yoga and movement classes. We also have support groups and healing circles where people who have had a similar experience can come together to talk about their experience and help support each other.
And talk about the healing circles?
So the healing circles are really incredible, and it's a newer addition to Smith Center, and it's based off of a national model that our partners in Commonweal and some folks out in Whidbey Island have been doing a lot of. But it's a group of people who come together to sit in a circle and talk about, life's experiences and how they've been impacted by it. So 2 of our circles that are happening right now is a circle for people who have lost a spouse, and we have a circle for gay men with prostate cancer. And those 2 circles have been really impactful for the people who have come into it, because what they find when they're sitting in circle with other people is people who really get what they've experienced, and people who can understand on a different level sometimes than maybe their friends or family or peer group what they're going through. And it gives them a real opportunity to talk about the emotional challenges and the logistical challenges too, of just how life is different from losing someone, or how life is different after having a diagnosis. And I think one of the things that we try to do at Smith Center, the medical side does a really incredible job of providing great medical care. But sometimes the mental health side or the emotional and social side isn't as well taken care of. And so at Smith Center, what we're really trying to do is provide a complement to what people are receiving in the medical system. And so really paying attention to some of the side effects, like quality of life, that maybe doesn't get as much attention in the medical system as folks would like. So we try to work with our medical partners to make sure we're doing that. So,
and how does that happen?
I think nearly everyone who comes into Smith Center is getting conventional medical care from a hospital system. And we have a lot of partners with the hospital systems as well. So we specifically partner with Georgetown on a few projects, the GW, George Washington University Cancer Center, and NOVA. We work with the different hospitals to either make sure we're providing services that they're asking us to provide because they can't provide them on site. And sometimes we even go into the hospital systems and provide these services so that they're easier for folks to access if transportation is an issue, or if our U Street location isn't an easy space for them to get to.
And the support groups that you were talking about, that's for like all different for men, for women, and all different types of, cancer, and also for caregivers. Is that right?
Yeah. So we have, I think we have 5 or 6 support groups now specifically. So we have one for all adults of any type of cancer, and we run a caregiver group at the same time. Because what we've found is that it's really hard for caregivers to break away and take care of themselves, but it's just as important that caregivers get emotional support as it is for patients. And so we run the caregiver group at the same time as the group for people who have experienced cancer themselves. We also run specific groups for young adults. So we know that there's a pretty big difference from someone who gets diagnosed with cancer at 26 versus maybe 76. So we have a group specifically for people who've been diagnosed between the ages of 19 and 39 to make sure that they're getting their unique needs met. This can be a really difficult time because there's a lot of life transition. People are starting careers, maybe starting families. And so we have a group specifically for this age range, and we also, again, run a caregiver group at the same time. So people who are caring for young adults can also receive support.
That's great. Yeah. I'd love to. We're gonna take a short break in a minute, but I just wanted to say, like, when we come back, I'd love to hear maybe some examples of some of the people that benefit from that. That would be great. And just to say, like, your programs, are there any fees involved or?
So a lot of our programs are free, and some are on a donation basis. So we want to make sure that everyone can access our programs. So we have scholarships for programs that do have a fee, but everything is on a donation, pay what you can basis.
Okay, that's great. So everybody has access to all the different programs. So wonderful. So I want to hear more about, like, some of the people that have utilized this, and more about your retreats and things like that. So we're going to just take a short break, and then we're going to come back and hear lots more.
Time to wake up. I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Don't forget, you've got a job to do today.
Hey, Mom. I got the job. Thanks.
I've got the job. Welcome aboard.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does.
And like that, you're a job creator.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Nira Berry, your host of Happy and Healthy, and we're talking with Jennifer Bires, and she's from Smith Center. And so I want to hear more about, like, maybe some of the people that you see coming in. And I know just even your space itself is just very warm and inviting, right?
Yeah, the space is beautiful. I mean, it really was designed to create calm and tranquility in people. So when you walk into the space, there's a beautiful art gallery, which I mentioned before, and all the shows in there are healing arts. So we really do believe that art has the ability to heal, and so our shows are specifically designed to bring healing into mind.
So who are the artists that you see in the art gallery?
We have a rotating group of artists. So we do about 4 shows a year, and we invite artists from the DC area oftentimes. Occasionally we'll have someone from further out, but we really like to support DC artists and really themes of healing. So one of the shows that we had recently was a woman who had been diagnosed with cancer at the same time as her partner. And so she did a lot of really interesting photography around her diagnosis. And coincidentally, she attended one of our residential retreats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to hear more about that. So
our retreats are one of our signature programs. And
you've been doing them for years, right? Like,
we've
how
been
many
doing
years?
them for over 22 years.
Wow.
And they're based off a model in Commonweal in Bolinas, California. And they've been doing them, I believe, for over 30 years.
Wow.
And again, it really takes this idea of healing, this model of healing, and we take people out into the country. Oftentimes we'll do them in West Virginia or in rural parts of Maryland so that people can get away from the busyness of life and
Unplug.
the distractions. Yeah, absolutely. Unplug. And then we expose them to lots of different modalities of healing. So while people are on retreat, they get nutritious foods cooked by our health supportive chefs, and they learn, how to design their own nutrition plan. We have daily support groups where they're in a really supportive environment and a group of their peers. We do some movement like yoga. We also have art there because, again, art is one of the big components of our healing. We have time for journaling and writing, walking in the woods, and it really creates this entire whole person healing environment for people to really start to think about what their healing path or healing journey may look like. And we hear from people all the time. I've heard people describe them as a little miracle, as life-changing. And I think one of the most incredible things about the retreats is that, you know, I'll talk to people who went through a retreat 15 years ago, and they're still telling me about ways that it is impacting them or how much it changed their life and their perspective. We had one gentleman who went through a retreat, and he had gotten to a point in his treatment that the doctors said, you know, his numbers weren't recovering as much as they'd like, and they weren't sure that he'd be able to continue on treatment. And he came to retreat, and he, you know, spent a lot of time with peers and group and really processing his experience, and really came out of retreat thinking about things in a really different way than he went into it. Really changed his perspective on life. Even his family mentioned how profound the change was. And he went back to the doctors a couple weeks later, and things changed, and his numbers were improving, and he was able to go back on treatment and ended up living many, many more years than expected. And I don't tell that story to say, you know, that retreats are curative or that they do something that medicine maybe can't or doesn't do, but the psychological impact of a retreat or of an experience at Smith Center can really be profound, and it changes people's relationship to their cancer oftentimes, and I think that can be so important for people to have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I know that when I personally went on one of the retreats, and it was many years ago, that it was life-changing and really was eye-opening, and a lot of life lessons learned there, because you're exposed to people in different stages. Some of them are like end stage, and some of them are just beginning the journey, and it's there's a lot of life lessons to be learned, and it still impacts me every day. So
I'm glad to hear that.
yeah.
I think that's the beautiful thing about groups is, you know, sometimes I hear people say they're scared to join a support group or scared to join a program where they may meet other people because maybe they'll be sicker than them, or, you know, maybe they'll feel bad about how healthy they are. But what I really do find is that people meet people all across the spectrum, whether it's at end of life or early in their diagnosis, and they learn from that, because at some point they may be in a similar situation and they have the opportunity to look back and say, oh, I remember when I met someone doing this, and this is what worked for them. And they can pull little strings from that can really help them go through the experience a little differently and oftentimes better.
Yeah, I remember it was a great learning experience, but it was also very gentle and supportive, and everybody that was from Smith Center was just very, very highly trained in all of their fields.
Yeah.
Like the chef was not just a chef, but like an amazing nutritional expert, well known, and everybody there was just very highly trained. You know, very impressive.
We only bring in the best of the best, so we want to make sure that people are so well cared for, and that they really are well cared for by people who know what they're doing. And so oftentimes we have people who've been in their field for years and years and years that are respected in the field, are writing in the field, are researching in the field, that have had a lot of training and a lot of experience working with people, because we want the experience to be profound and we want it to have a really big impact.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. So I know that you also help people figure out how to navigate through their life. You know, now suddenly if they get some kind of a diagnosis, or, you know, I know that patient navigation is a big part of what you do also, right? Yeah.
So we have a integrative patient navigation training, and we have a number of integrative patient navigators on staff who are...
So you actually train other patient navigators?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we train people from across the country. We've had nurses, doctors, social
Wow.
workers, and even lay people come in for the training. And then we also provide free patient navigation, sometimes over the phone if people are living far away, and oftentimes people will come into Smith Center for patient navigation. And we navigate people based on what they need. So for some people, they are learning how to deal with the anxiety or stress of having a cancer diagnosis. So we may teach them mindfulness or meditation techniques. For other people, they may be interested in learning more about acupuncture, Reiki, herbal remedies that can complement the medications they're getting from their physicians. And so we work with them to identify practitioners that are, again, highly skilled in their field, have the right education and training. We also work to just provide people with emotional and social support and help them sort out what they've been through and process what they've been through and help them figure out what questions they need to ask their medical team and how to think about quality of life and bring up some of those pieces that are really important to them so that the treatment they're getting can really complement what they need to have a high quality of life.
Do you have an example of somebody that's recently used your program?
Sure, yeah. So we had someone recently who was diagnosed with an illness called multiple myeloma, and the doctors were moving really quickly and recommending a lot of treatments, and she was scared, rightfully so. And this person was alone, so she didn't have a lot of family who could go to appointments with her. And so she came in and sat with one of our navigators and was able to, for one, learn some mindfulness techniques. So when her brain started racing, when she was feeling really scared, she was able to slow things down.
You give her a good tool.
Yeah, a really nice
Yeah.
tool. Learn some breathing to help calm her mind down when she felt like things were spinning or moving really fast. Additionally, the navigator helped her come up with a list of questions for her doctor. So really looking at what were the things that were important to her in life and what were the things she needed to know to make a good decision about what treatment she wanted. And so by having that conversation with one of our patient navigators, she felt really empowered that she could go into the physician's office and really create a good relationship with her physician, getting the questions answered that she had and really feel knowledgeable about next steps. And I think it made a big difference in the type of care that she received and also just feeling confident that, she was getting what was best for her.
Yeah, that's sounds really. It sounds like it really helped her a lot. So, do you feel like there's like a misconception about integrative health? When people hear that term, do you feel like there's a lot of misconception about that?
I think sometimes, I don't think people always understand what integrative health is, and sometimes people think that if you're choosing integrative health, you're choosing that instead of conventional therapies. And certainly at Smith Center, that's not the case. We are trying to create kind of a marriage or a blending of the two. We want to make sure that people have their medical oncologists, their medical physicians, and that they're getting the right medical treatment for them and standard of care. But we also want to take care of this other side of them, the side of them that is their mental and emotional health, making sure they're well taken care of, their families are well taken care of, and really taking a very whole person approach.
That's wonderful. So if people wanted more information, can you give us your website?
Sure. We're at www.smithcenter.org.
Okay.
And we have our calendar online, which
So they can just go there and find everything that we talked about and lots more,
lots
right?
More. All of our programs, absolutely.
Yeah. And, it's just, I know this is Smith Center for the Healing and the Arts. So what is your favorite type of art?
I like all kinds of arts. I don't know if I have a specific type of art, but I think what I love, one of the programs I love the most are our writing classes. I like to watch people come in and write, which is one of the types of arts we utilize, and just to see how different things come up for them that have never come up before. It's really amazing to see the shift and change in people when they're using a tool like writing that they've never used before.
That's so interesting. Well, thank you so much for being here today and just, highlighting, healing opportunities for people. And it's just amazing. So thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you for
from
having
Smith
me.
Center.
It's great to be here.
Wonderful. So I'm Nira Berry. I'm the host of Happy and Healthy. And stay tuned for my Good to Know segment.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation letter.
You're resigning. Why?
Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this.
You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately.
That's why I'm ready to quit.
I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me.
Okay, but remember, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Hi, I'm Nira Berry, the happiness coach, and I'm your host of Happy and Healthy. And today I'm going to speak to you about what's good to know. And as part of my Good to Know segment, my series on success in life and at work, I'm going to speak to you about how you can win at life with your positive attitude. And you know, it really helps you in feeling good and even taking away pain. Did you know that if you have a positive attitude, that studies say that you may not feel all the little aches and pain that you feel possibly every day? And there's many ways to deal with it. Number one is you can always laugh, and that really helps you really boost your positive outlook and just go ha 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 ha. And you know, and you may not even notice that you have like that stress or additional pain just by laughing, and it makes you more resilient, and it boosts your immune system and gives you possibly even like a longer span of living in the long run, because you reduce your stress hormones and you boost your happy hormones. And so really you can actually help yourself reduce any kind of a pain and really boost your mood just by feeling a little bit more positive, and maybe even if you feel like you can associate more with more people in different groups, that really helps as well. So when you're happy, you're feeling good, and helps you aid in physical health as well. So let me know what you think. I'm Nira Berry, the host of Happy and Healthy. And if you want to reach me, you can reach me at info@niraberry.com. Look forward to hearing from you, and have a happy day.